we should play the Marseillaise, because I had always played for the first record. But of course, knew that most people wouldn't know the Marseillaise. So I wrote out some manuscript paper too, and I got to rehearsal, and as people came in, I said, come, copy this too. So we had, I don't know, maybe 8 poorly copied versions of the tune, and we kind of spread them around the orchestra. People looked at it and played it. It sounded terrible. But we did, and then the next year, Bastille Day came up. Oh, it's Bastille Day. And I did it again. Wrote out the tune copy. I finally got started, and I bought the orchestra. Instead of writing it out and finding a copy and everything. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this story, besides the fact that you just played it, is that in 1995, Bastille Day was on a Friday. And that was the summer that Bruck died in Canada. And a few years before that, I had been doing one of the 6 weeks of the program. He told me that his wife, who used to accompany him here for the summer, didn't want to come anymore. The trip was too hard for her and it was boring. She'd rather spend that summer with her at her sister's place. But Maestro Bruck, being Maestro Bruck, he didn't somehow trust that she'd get along without him for 6 weeks. So he wanted to be able to go back in the middle for 1 week. So he traveled back to France for a week and then came back. And he said, you're going to do the school for that week. So this had happened for a few years, and then came 1995, and I got a call from him in the winter saying that he had some kind of medical condition, which of course he would not tell me anything about, any details about, but that he wasn't sure he could come this summer, and if he did, it probably wouldn't be for the full time. And I was not to tell anyone, including Nancy Monteux, who was the administrator of the school, Monteux's daughter. And he said he would know more, and I can't remember when it was, sometime in May, I think, some doctor's appointment he'd have. And so in May, he contacted me and said his doctor said he could come for 2 weeks. And so Nancy was told. And he was coming for 2 weeks in the middle, so I would do the first 2 weeks, and we do the 2 weeks, and then I would do the first. And he was not in good health, so he wanted some help getting here. Normally he would fly to Boston and then transfer the plane and fly up to Bangor. But he wanted someone to meet him in Boston to help him. So one of our alumni who studied for many years, who was based in Boston at the time, Jeffrey Ring, we made arrangements for him to meet him at Logan Airport and transport him from one terminal to another. And then so Jeffrey come him on a flight also, came up here. And he was not the same person. I mean, he must have lost 40, 50 pounds. He was very gone. He looked very weak. He looked very jaundiced. He never told us what the problem was, but we presumed that it was liver cancer. So he taught his first week, and that was very, very hard because he just wasn't himself. He just didn't have the energy and even the concentration. And after the first week, he said, I don't have the energy to do this for the second week. You have to do this my second week. So I said, okay, you want me to help you arrange to get back to France? And he didn't want to go back to France because he was a very stubborn man. You know, he made all these arrangements that when he was originally going to go back to France, he had hired a driver who was going to meet him at such and such and drive to such and such and blah, blah, blah. That he was just going to stay here and just fly on his normally scheduled flight. So that week, he just was in his house, the house was still rented for him, which was like the end of Hancock Point. And Neil was visiting that week, just totally coincidental, and was staying at Bruck's house. So that helped a lot, to have someone there to help him. You have to pardon me because I know you more than I intend to say. But it's hard for me to tell the story sort of for myself. He decided that he wanted me to cook his meals, and he had very precise directions. You know, to be braised sole, and I had to cook it a certain way in the pan with a little bit of butter, and he wanted rice with it, and he described this cockamamie way of cooking rice, where it would be crunchy, but I had to cook it that way. And I don't know why he decided, I don't know why he didn't ask you to cook, because you were right there. But he insisted that I come over.
My cooking before.
He wanted me to come over, and his main meal was a lunch meal. I mean, he typically would eat a big meal at lunch, as many Europeans do, and at dinner he would just have soup or something like that. So this was the noon meal, which was really the 1 o'clock meal. Because after rehearsal, I'd go to the house and I'd make him his meal, which he hardly ate. So that week, we continued, we rehearsed the concert, and we did our readings and whatnot. The students, of course, were very concerned. There were a number of students who had, like this summer, who had studied many years here with them, and were very close to him. They wanted to see him. He did not want to see anybody. And I had to keep telling them that, which was very difficult. And then got towards the end of the week, and I said Friday was Bastille Day. And I don't remember all the details. I don't remember if I suggested it or students suggested it. Hey, can we go to his house and figure out that story? So a bunch of students, maybe about half the orchestra, because I think this idea maybe had come up after rehearsal had dismissed. Took their instruments and music and some folding stands, and we went down to the end point. And his house was on the water, and there was a lawn between the house and the water. Assembled in that lawn, and we must have let you know that we were coming, what was happening. And played the Marseillaise out on the lawn for him on Bastille. And I was hoping he would, like the Pope, come to the window. But he wasn't strong enough. I don't know, Neil, if you want to share anything, because Neil was in the room with him when this was happening.
Well, he was in bed. He wanted to go to the window, but so he was open the window, and he was over there, and was laying in bed to listen.
Did he make any comments like the tempo was too slow and that kind of stuff?
No, I think the tempo for once was right. I think I even said afterwards it was a good tempo.
So then the next day was, well, not the next day, then that weekend. On Sunday was a concert, and of course Tuesday said he's going to come, and I said I doubt it because as I say, it was very weak. And early in the morning, Nancy Moulter was calling for me. I used to, in those years, I was living in the annex to Winter Haven, where Mark Thayer is living this summer. And so she came to that connecting area, calling my name. And she said, come. They called an ambulance for Maestro. So I went to the phone. And I don't know if you remember, because I don't remember now. Whether you told me on the phone if he had died, or whether I found out because I think the paramedics had gotten there, and I don't know when they had determined finally what had happened. But I went to his house immediately, and the paramedics were there, and I found out that he had died. So then I talked about this with Nancy Moser and made the decision. I said, I really think that he, being the kind of person he is, would have insisted, if he could, that the concert happen. But I didn't want to put the students through the experience of having just had this very immune and great concert. So Nancy and I made a decision that we would not tell them until after the concert. Although one student, who was particularly close to him, tried to go and see him that morning on her own and witnessed the paramedics there. So she knew. And I had a big argument with her. She just felt it was right to know, kind of, we must tell everyone right away. And I finally convinced her that no, this was not a good idea. So we had the concert, and I asked my assistant to tell the students to stay on stage or come back to the stage, I don't know which it was, after the concert. And that's what I told them. The other major reason I want to tell you the story is that one of the pieces on that program was absolutely fantastic. And I brought with me, I used to make up these composite program books of all the programs they get given summer, so I have one for that summer. And you're welcome to come up to me and ask to look at it. I don't want it out of my sight because it's the only copy I have. So this is the program book for that summer. And the program on Sunday, July 16, 1995. Verdi La Forza del Destino. Martinu Double Concerto for two-string orchestras, piano and symphony. And Symphonie Fantastique. And the last movement was conducted by Ludovic Molo. Third movement was conducted by Carlos Miguel Prieto. First movement was conducted by Gabriel Diaz-Alentiste. Fourth movement conducted by David Bruck, who was Tiffany's predecessor as conducting associate. And then the public, other than those who knew Nancy and co-finished in school, they found out at the next concert because there was another program. And we let him run at that concert. So I just wanted to share. The program ordered for Sunday is Copland, Mozart, Intermission, Berlioz. So let's start right off with Copland.